Okay, this is gonna work this time. I've tried to make this video like 3 times, and every time I just get this feeling like Jesus is saying, nope, go again. I've been trying to talk about Rob at Grace Vineyard, and apparently Jesus is so particular and protective of Rob. Jesus is crazy about Rob. And so I'm hoping that fourth time's the charm. This is going to work this time. So Lord, help me. Help me to say what you want me to say. I don't know what it is about the last 3 attempts that have been unacceptable. Not unacceptable. Maybe Jesus just wants me to talk about Rob over and over again. Maybe he just likes it and just is like, do it again, do it again. So I'm doing it again. Okay, Rob at Grace Vineyard. My hair is distracting me. Okay, Rob at Grace Vineyard. So I've been talking about Grace Vineyard. Well, when I began to go to Grace, I went by myself. But after a while, and I don't remember how long it was, Rob started to come too. And the whole charismatic culture was not as strange to Rob. He was more familiar with it, and so it didn't take him as long to kind of fit in and loosen up. And before long, he was worshiping his heart out, and it was wonderful. One of the things that happened a lot at Grace Vineyard was people would worship with flags, and there were some beautiful flags at Grace Vineyard. And a lot of the men actually would flag during worship, which was wonderful. And Rob was one of those guys. Oh, I wish you could see it. At some point, he made his own double-ended flag. So it was basically just plastic tubing, long plastic tubing, and on the ends, Rob had, at both ends, he had hung gold fabric flags. So picture this thing. It was long, it had flags on both ends, and he would dance. Rob would dance in worship with this flag. And it was beautiful. And when he would get like in the sweet spot, he would be dancing his heart out, and he'd throw this flag up in the air, and it would twirl around and it'd come back down, and he'd grab it and keep dancing. And it was just like it was choreographed. You know what it was like? It was like those scenes in Star Wars where the Jedi is fighting with the double-ended lightsaber. And it was just like that. I mean, like Rob was the worship Jedi. And it was just mesmerizing to watch. And someday, Rob is going to worship like that again. I promise you, when the time is right, when the venue is right, somebody is going to bring out a double-ended flag, and Rob is going to go for it. Even if it's just, even if we have to wait until heaven to see it, we will see it. If it happens on this side of glory and I have my phone, I promise you it will be on Facebook. Anyway, it was just amazing. Just stop for a minute and picture it. Rob dancing with a double-ended flag. Ah, beautiful. Jesus loves that. Do you want me to tell it again? Okay, I think he's all right. I might just keep repeating it. Jesus and I will just linger for a while in that memory. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So, Grace Vineyard was significant for Rob too. I think it played a big part in the revival that happened in his heart. That's his story. You'll have to ask him about that. But I think it's safe to say that Grace Vineyard was significant for both of us, to the point that we actually decided to renew our vows. And during one service, we got up at the front and we said our original vows to each other, the vows that we had written when we were married. And you can imagine how meaningful that was to me. I think it was mostly my idea. But I got to say those vows to Rob again, the vows I had broken. I got to promise him again to be faithful and all of the things that I promised him. It was great. It was wonderful experience to renew those vows, but it didn't necessarily fix everything in our relationship because we still had a long way to go. We had a lot of growing to do. I still had to discover in a way that reached my DNA that God was my soulmate, and to let Rob off the hook, that he didn't have to be God to me, that God could be God to me. I still had to figure that out completely, but I'll talk more about that next time. I really need to talk about what happened with the Jesus Journal, because something happened with it, and so next time I'll talk about that. Thanks for listening, and I hope that I won't be making this video again, but hey, you never know.